This is a charity interview.
People like, oh, it would be so hard to undo all the corruption that exists within the system. No, it's actually relatively easy.
Oh, I need to hear this. How?
It's not America first to set the conditions that will later harm America.
Yeah. Just creating new terrorists for the future.
I think that's right. And look, I mean, anybody who is honest and looks at what's happening in Gaza right now has got to be absolutely sickened by it.
That's where the hollow earth theory starts coming in.
Just another
provide the other
but
end
that
of that.
hollow earth is that they're
hollow
saying
flat earth.
One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds.
Nation was founded by men of many nations and backgrounds.
Have you ever read about the reasons they attacked us? They attack us because we've been over there.
Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have a liftoff.
what do you want to do?
I don't know, T. Let's just go fucking start the show.
What's up, Doom Nation, and welcome back. You were listening to the Two Doom Men podcast. As always, it's Scagz and yours truly, the Captain. We got another great episode for you today. And yes, who is that, and how do they have the sticker of you?
There's a sticker somehow in the comment. That might be Luch. Who knows? Yeah, but we're back. We're trying to get back in the swing of things and have a rhythm to our episodes again. We made it 2 episodes in a row per week.
Yes.
The past 2. So we're back. Hello, Captain. Hello, Doom Nation. The boys are here having a beer. Tonight, I thought we would talk about Iran, the protests, the looming. We get one new war a week now. We went from no new wars to one new war a week potentially. But I thought maybe we could start off first to have a little bit of fun.
Yes, something big happened, and we're finally all caught up.
Yeah, we are. I watched last night the final episode of Stranger Things, the series finale. So I thought we could just talk about that. Captain, I have not really. You were busy today, so we didn't get to talk about it through text. So kind of, and I know on New Year's Eve you were like itching to talk about it, and you kept your trap shut. So good job, good to you. Yeah.
Yeah. Steve didn't die. I didn't need to riot. So I'm happy for that. There is 7 seconds of the episode that's missing when he drops and he automatically gets saved.
Yeah, what was that? Yeah, when they were climbing the tower and then he starts to fall off, and then that was such a weird decision editing wise. It's
when Vecna won, basically. The one thing I have learned between John Cena's retirement, go back and check out us live streaming Saturday Night Main Event, John Cena's retirement match against Gunther. We were over there at Big L's. We were testing out his new garage party bar scene.
Crack House.
Yeah, the Crack House. And then, so if you look at like John Cena's final match, and then you look at what happened with Stranger Things, fan theory is 1000% way better than what any of these writers could come up with.
That's what any show, bro.
I've been trying to like formulate like a plan in my head, like if we could just come up with like a great series, right? Like let's say it's going to be 5 seasons, and we write and control seasons 1 through 4 and the first half of season 5, but then somehow part B of season 5 we just strictly run on fan theories, and I think it would be phenomenal.
You know why that might be sometimes, because sometimes I feel like fans love a show and just like characters and the whole everything about it so much, like even more probably than like the directors and the producers. To be honest with you, some people it honestly gets completely out of hand to the point it's too much, but it makes them write really good fan theory stuff. So you think that when Steve fell off the tower, that was in theory the end of the show, and then the rest was kind of like
failed from there
went to black.
So I don't hate the series finale. I'm not upset. I don't get upset over this as much as I used to. Because the one thing I've learned growing up, there's been a lot of good TVs and they've all had shitty endings, right?
TV shows, yeah.
Yeah, TV shows like, Sons of Anarchy was great. I think that had a good ending, but like Breaking Bad, boring ending.
I like Breaking Bad's ending. Game of Thrones obviously
was
is
a completely cocked up ending. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, so these and I put Stranger Things up there as a great TV show. I don't think it was the best, but for its genre of what it was, I think it was very good.
Do you think it was a like one of those kind of culture defining shows? That it'll be remembered long term, like The Sopranos, like Game of Thrones, like Star Wars. You do think it's like a culture defining
I think
show?
there's a whole nother universe now that opened up. The Upside Down has unlimited potential, just like a galaxy far, far away in a time long ago. So I think that universe has plenty of potential. I didn't expect much. The fan theories were off the charts, but there's just I think either Vecna won and everything we saw was Vecna's plan, or in his, using his power to screw us. We're under his spell, and this is the perceived ending we got. And that's why I was always saying that if what was the gate that they
the gate?
No, there was the big thing on Twitter and TikTok, conformity gate. Okay, so you just the show. You missed most of Conformity Gate. Conformity Gate was people genuinely believed that there was a secret episode dropping and it was going to rewrite the ending. And we were going to see that it was Vecna all along, because there's signs in the show. 8 had already died, so how could she be casting the fake image?
Well, that was one of the things I was going to bring up, right? At the now, spoiler warning, by the way, if you haven't figured it out by now, we're going to spoil everything and no
too bad,
bar here. I felt like that, that Elle's sister, the story that Mike told at the end, which kind of leaves it open. I felt like it was kind of a little bit left open to interpretation.
Yeah,
he's not literally saying that is what happened, but it's left up to you, the viewer, to believe what you want. Maybe Elle did survive because the sister helped her. To me, it doesn't like logically make any sense, because she had been shot, and then when Elle is about to like standing at the gate about to get pulverized, that's like an hour later almost. And in terms of how could you have survived that?
Those sonic machines were on for to stop them from using their powers.
Right.
So I had a feeling the government was never going to stop unless Elle died. So that I always saw coming.
So real quick, I will say that I was texting this in a little bit in our group chat today, but like Netflix is never going to be satisfied. There's not going to be enough money for them, and this is a cash cow for them. So I do think that they wrote the show with a little bit of an like it gives you closure to the whole story, but they left it.
Well, the new kids, the younger kids picked up. So,
but I'm just saying, like, they left it even with the original characters able to be continued if they choose to do so and come back.
She's alive. They
could be. And why I even think that is not just because there's a possibility that Elle is alive, but the Black Hand, like the military, like Sarah Connor, they got no resolution to their story.
Yeah,
they just disappeared.
And they let just all those kids,
right? So and so like I could see a whole extra season, a whole movie of them finding Elle in that town wherever she is with the waterfalls, and that being a whole separate story. I also, real quick, I'll just plug real quick. I could see a prequel show as well that explains how that guy in the well had that rock. Where did that come from? How did the government get it? Whatever. When Henry
killed him as a kid,
like, that could be a whole show in of itself, leading up to how Henry got it, etc. Like a whole prequel show, something like that.
Yeah. My other theory though is none of this happened. It was all a D&D game. That was the several year long campaign. And because somebody like pointed it out, I got to find the TikTok. I might have saved it. All the rules that took place, all the things that took actions and things that took place during their fight against Vecna over the several years all apply to rules of D&D, Dungeons and Dragons.
I'm not this much of a nerd where I know any of that.
I don't know them either. But so you know how like it ends, like instead of going to the party, I got a great idea. Let's go do something else.
Yeah.
And they play D&D and they end their campaign.
What a bunch of losers. They were about to score with those chicks and they go to play Dungeons and Dragons.
Dude, I don't think any of this another theory of mine, none of this ever happened. You know, Elle was the mage. They didn't really have a mage or whatever. And this was all just an elaborate D&D game that was in their heads. And this is how, you know, Max rolled a 1 and she got cursed and she couldn't play for a certain amount of time until somebody else helped her, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? Like none of this happened. It was just a game of D&D.
Well, the whole show is, you know, modeled after or a giant game of D&D. So no matter what, I think you're correct. I think maybe you're just going too far down the rabbit hole and fan theories and whatnot. Although I like it. It's interesting. I like kind of where you're going with it. I did like the finale. Like I felt like it gave it's so hard, man. I've come to now appreciate how difficult it is to end a really popular show. It just is, no matter what. And there's been a lot of stupid shit that's happened for shows. I felt like they did a good job at closing out what is a difficult show. Like they explained to you, like scientifically almost, what the upside down is. Like, you know, that was one of the things that Game of Thrones completely fucking botched. The whole overarching story of like the White Walkers and the supernatural stuff going on was an overarching story over all the seasons, and then it just kind of goes away without being really explained whatsoever in detail. Stranger Things didn't do that. They explained to you like now it's a bit of like plot device where what's his name? I'm sorry, I'm blanking on the names, where they find like the books that explain everything right there in the laboratory. I'm like, well, that's really fucking convenient. But at least like they make an effort to explain it to you and like show you that it was a wormhole, you know, kind of being like a space nerd. I appreciate all that. And it being, you know, in a sense, the monsters actually were aliens the whole time trying to come through a wormhole. Like I appreciate that. That gave me closure to what the fuck was this the whole time going on. And then there being a final confrontation, there being a little bit of, like meaning behind it. I thought that Vecna was gonna do like a Darth Vader at the end, maybe, and turn to the good side and stop, because it made sense how like the Mind Flayer was kind of manipulating him. So I thought for this moment he was gonna turn and come to the good side. I'm like, that's a pretty interesting angle, and like I know that Star Wars has set that precedent for so many bad guys over the years, but they didn't go that way. And I'll be honest with you, like I preferred they didn't go that way. Like, no, just it was interesting. They tempted, you know, it was tempting, but they just allowed the bad guy to be the bad guy down to the end and team up with the alien, and you have a big boss fight at the end. The boss fight was a little bit ridiculous. Not gonna lie, you know,
a teenage girl with an M16 and
Godzilla, but you know, it was entertaining at least.
The what was I gonna say? Speaking of things left unanswered. Oh, there was that one scene where Vecna had Will, and I'm going to use you one more time. You're going to be my spy, blah, 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 blah. No spying was done whatsoever.
Just briefly to find out where Max was that one time.
Yeah, but then he said it again. I'm going to use you again. And then Will came out of the closet and like absolved him of all this. I don't know.
That was a big scene too. That was like chatted about a lot. That got spoiled for me.
Yeah, that's one of that scene and the mom fighting. That one of my biggest issues with season 5. You go back to season 4 when they're in Russia, or whenever the hell they were in Russia, and one Demigorgon in Russia versus 25 large masculine men with axes and swords and spears, and they run through them.
Yeah.
The Demogorgon runs through 20 plus guys. Miss Wheeler, drunk off her ass, half naked with a broken wine bottle, takes one of these things out.
Or almost
Still,
takes it out. Yeah.
to this day, do not understand how that's possible.
Yeah, you mentioned the Russians, the Soviet part seasons ago. So I do think there was a couple really well written things, like translating it to now like the real world here. It is kind of believable that like there'd be a secret military project that doesn't care about like the externalities that it creates, like the people that it hurts, the the possibility of creating more disasters like it is. It's just they just wanted to adapt the Upside Down and the Demogorgons and all this stuff as a weapon. The Sarah I don't even know what her name is. I guess Mom, like in theory, she's Elle's mom.
She has
the military woman. But like again, her whole story is left unresolved, and she was left a little bit too vague, which leads me to believe they're going to make more about it. But yeah, like that's exactly what the military probably would do, or like some spook like that would do. Is like, no, actually, we want to adapt this stuff so that we could use it. We want to unleash the Demogorgons in Moscow and attack.
Yeah,
that's exactly what they want to do. So we're going to talk about next here, quite literally in our next segment on the show. So I appreciate shit like that because it resonates, like it's somewhat realistic. Although we're talking about monsters and fucking wormholes and alien planets. What did you think about the idea that it was just after all that it was actually just aliens?
I never viewed it as aliens. Aliens is a good term for it. I always, beings from a different dimension. Was
well,
more
not even from
me.
a different dimension,
Yeah.
really. They're literally aliens from another planet. And the Mind Flayer is an alien. The Demogorgons were aliens, and they attempted to use a wormhole to come to the Earth, and Vecna along with them. It was a bit of like it makes sense, but it was a bit of an odd turn.
The government gave them or unlocked their superhuman powers, not the aliens giving them their powers.
Right.
The alien controlled Vecna, but the government program, you know what I mean? Like unlocked the superhuman
abilities.
People.
Yeah. I'm talking about like the Demogorgons and the Mind Flayer.
Yeah.
Like in theory, they're just aliens.
Yeah, they are
trying to come to the Earth. Right. I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting them to be more of like demon,
Yeah, I thought it was just something from the underworld.
Right, something like that.
I never saw, the word
positive.
coming.
Yeah.
I think
a good little bit of a twist.
Very good.
A good twist that kind of makes sense there. So I liked it, man. If you had to, I don't know if you want to, if there's anything else you want to talk about it, but what would you give what would you give the last season if you had to? Let's give it a doomed review rating if you had to give it one.
Wasn't the best season out of all of them. Some of them were way more entertaining than others. But I'm giving it like an 8. This was a big show. 8.5. This is a really big show. I would like to see more. The fan theories really had me going. I don't think what we saw was it. The Duffer Brothers did mention that, we could be under Vecna's spell. But then if nothing comes out, then what is it really?
We're under Netflix's spell until
we're under Netflix's paywall.
Yeah, when they need to bump up the stock price again.
Yeah, I think it was a very good show. I think it ended very well. It left us with a lot of questions. Definitely for the people who were looking for all the Easter eggs. Mrs. Wheeler in her last scene didn't have any scars, but at graduation,
she did.
No. At graduation, she had scars. When she called the kids up for dinner, didn't have any scars.
Okay, I didn't notice that.
Apparently, when you put all the books together with all their names on it, one of the lines says "a lie." I don't know about that. There's dice.
You really
left,
went down the rabbit hole on this.
There's dice left everywhere, and they all have different numbers. Numbers signifying stuff. The T-shirt Dustin wore, "Hellfire Lives," might mean Eddie is still alive. There was some cool. Oh, and then also I think the school colors were supposed to be green, but they were all in orange gowns, which might mean this is Vecna's imagination and stuff. So there's a lot to it, but I would like to just see a little more to, you know what I mean? Like to put it over. They had, obviously it's a fan theory, but if they had honestly done the conformity gate where a new episode comes out and like rewrites the ending, that would have revolutionized the way like people watch and write TV series.
Yeah.
It would have really been like a bit. That would have been a big pop. That would have been crazy to see. Like we thought we were done, but wait, there's one more.
There's more. Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. Don't lose hope on that. Yeah, there might be a movie or something extra. I do think. I'm right there with you. I'm going to give it an 8 overall. The final season, it was really good. I enjoyed it. I thought it did a good job at pulling off something extremely difficult. Like I said, ending a show. One of my highlights of the whole season was the first reveal finally of Vecna, which was like maybe episode 3 or something. Like he remember like in the beginning, like the first couple episodes, like you hadn't actually seen Vecna at all. Like he wasn't clear exactly where he was. They were looking for him. So like the moment where he finally shows up and you're like 3 episodes into this thing, and he comes through the gate and he fucks shit up. Like he blows up, the Demogorgons come. It's this huge battle, takes place. It was like well done. Like it was built up correctly. That was kind of like my favorite part of the whole, the whole season. And when then Will like finally has he comes, that was Will's best scene. I know people are going to make it like, oh, when he comes out of the closet later on that he's gay that was, I don't understand like really the significance of that. Really, it kind of, it's woke shit, right? Let's just be honest with you here, folks. Like they're just trying to cram in some woke fucking stupid thing in there. I thought when Will's scene where he finally has to like protect everyone in that big battle when Vecna comes out, right after Vecna like stares him down or whatever, and it's made with like flashbacks of his childhood and him like kind of coming to grips and not being afraid anymore. That is like perfect writing. And then you seeing him there like reaching out and using his his sorcerer powers or whatever. That was probably the highlight of the season for me. That was fucking well done. And not again, we're talking about like aliens, but it wasn't like overly unbelievable like it was when they were fighting this giant Godzilla sized monster later. Like that is more of the size that you could like kind of wrap your head around and it still be really cool, have some CGI action, etc. So that was my highlight. I definitely agree. It was an 8 overall, but good show overall. It was interesting watching these kids go from like little tiny kids to
I only started Stranger Things in 2025 because the last season was coming out, and I said, all right, what the hell, I'll watch it. And
so watching it from the beginning. I watched it from the very beginning. Interesting.
Yeah, I did the whole. I watched everything, but I watched it last year, not from when it originally dropped. And it's funny because like seeing Millie Bobby Brown, whatever her name is, go from this bald little girl to a absolute rocket ship has been quite disturbing and interesting all at the same time. But also one of my funny favorite little tidbits is like the last line of Hopper in Stranger Things. He's like, somehow, first off, everybody thought he was dead and while he was in Russia, and he clearly didn't have a job anymore, but he was still able to like own a bunker with all these weapons. And then he got
a lot of plot devices.
Then he got his job back, and not only did he get his job back, he's now going to go be the chief of police in our home away from home, Montauk, New York.
I enjoyed that. I enjoyed the little, the little homage to Montauk. We've done 2 episodes
because that's where the military base that
that's where the story
conspiracy came from.
Yeah, that's where the inspiration for the whole story comes from, the Montauk monster and all that. Right. So I appreciated that. Somebody who knew that. I bet you a bunch of people didn't even know what the fuck that was about. So that was cool. Yeah. Overall, well done, I'd say.
Yeah. I think it was a good show.
Yeah.
What do we got? Did we
Cheers to Stranger Things. Yeah, these guys are having a full conversation in our comments. Let's not even get into it. All right. What else? Real quick before we get on to the Iran stuff, what do you think about since we're on the topic of film, TV, movies? What do you think so far about all the trailers for Avengers Doomsday?
I've only
enough to get you to want to go watch it in theaters, or no?
Yeah, I do. I didn't go see Fantastic Four in theaters. I waited, and I didn't hate it. I didn't hate the Fantastic Four movie, but I also don't remember it either. So it wasn't, that noteworthy or memorable in my opinion. But some of these trailers look good. The only thing that I disagree with is Captain America's coming back and all this stuff. You killed off all these people in Endgame. And then you did a bunch of garbage movies and shows, and you're shit, we better get the band back together or we're never gonna, course correct this. But my favorite thing, but I got to see it play out right in like the right way. Seeing Cyclops in the comic accurate costume, woo, that's what put me over right there.
Yeah,
we got the original Cyclops from the X-Men movie in the comic accurate, costume. I'm loving that. I just don't want a bunch of old aging actors playing the X-Men, and then if this is to go another 5-6 years, now they're too old to keep doing it. You know what I mean? Like, that's my biggest fear with moving forward, bringing people back from the dead, bringing old actors from a movie. You got to remember, X-Men was what, 2001?
Long, yeah, that's the longest running one. Luch says all the after shows don't exist. After Endgame, I see.
Yeah.
So Luch is trying to say that all the movies that came out after Endgame don't exist. That's what I'm going to pretend, at least.
Yeah.
But to go back to what you're saying before, like I used to be the type of, now we did many reviews over years. I used to be the type of person that thought like this is like sacrosanct, this stuff, like, and God, how dare they fuck it all up? But they've fucked everything up so badly after Endgame that like I don't give a shit anymore. Like I don't view any of this stuff as sacrosanct.
They could only fuck up now.
Right. So now I'm like, fuck, bring them all back. Why not? Like they fucked everything up so bad anyway. Like give it a shot. Get the band back together. See if you can make it make sense. And like I don't give a shit. It's not like holy anymore to me or anything like that. But maybe it will be good. I kind of like the marketing theme that they went on a lot of the trailers. At least Thor and Captain Rogers is that they're dads. And like they have to go back and do this one more time to maybe protect their children, something like that. I think I said this in the thing. I'm like, that was definitely some good marketing right there. They know the demographic of their viewership.
Yeah,
base.
we're older now.
Has kids, is pissed off at the whole thing that's occurred with the Disney being woke and whatnot. They're like, let's try and target market our audience here. And
the only problem is like,
so I'll go watch it definitely. Maybe we'll do a Doom review.
Yeah, the only problem is going to be is if those are like the only like good normal scenes, and the rest of the time it's like. Transgendered rainbows,
right? And they're all transing their kids, like it's a whole. That's what Dr. Doom is actually like a right wing lunatic, and that's why he's the bad guy, and everyone else is like super. It could be, man. Disney's famous for their bait and switches, so who knows? All right, let's get into the actual political news. We're about half an hour in now, talking about the nonsense. So, I thought I named the title of this episode "MIGA." And
make Iran great again.
And it's funny because that's been going around in the social media sphere,
the boomer sphere.
No, like that's been going around like in our world, right? Like a lot of people being critical of Trump and the whole MAGA movement of it being MIGA, like make Israel great again. Like you voted for MAGA and you got MIGA, make Israel great again. So pretty kind of funny and ironic. The president himself now at this point just goes out and says MIGA himself. Like I didn't anticipate this to happen, where he goes, Iranian patriots keep protesting, take over your institutions, save the names of the killers and abusers. They will pay a big price. I've canceled all meetings with Iranian officials until the senseless killing of protesters stops. Help is on its way. MIGA, President Donald J. Trump. Now, obviously, he does mean
Iran, not Israel.
Make Iran great again. But I just found it ironic. If you want to maybe just dissect that tweet right there, I'm like, Jesus, like, I don't know. Imagine if Kim Jong-un was tweeting on January 6th, like, go and overthrow the American government. How would our government feel about them? Right. So again, just like always some perspective for everyone here about like how the rest of the world probably views the way the United States government fucking behaves in relation to them.
It's funny you bring that up because on TikTok there's this British couple that came to America and vlogged their vacation and absolutely loved America.
Okay.
And they have you seen the guy? He's the big fucking juiced up Brit.
Maybe I'm thinking of something else. Maybe it doesn't sound familiar now. But go ahead.
Right. So but they've literally spent all their money. Like they go back to London, plan the next trip, and they hit several states, and they literally have been like RVing around the country now. And they love America so much they are fully getting prepared to properly get their papers and immigrate here and live in America. And so they fell in love with the beauty and the people and stuff. But in a recent post, he was talking about like something that was important to him. He's like, in Europe and in Britain, people think like America's dangerous. He's like, I don't feel like I'm in danger at all. And he started to realize like the media in Britain really paints a dark, negative picture, and for throughout Europe mostly, of what America is really like. There's people in Europe really believing that we live under a dictator, that Maduro is the good guy and that we are the bad guys. Now, granted, for the most part, we are the bad guys when we do these regime changes. But here in America, like, unless you're trying to run over an ICE agent, life's pretty fucking good for you. And this guy's starting to realize like propaganda and like the way the media paints America from the outside looking in.
Yeah, that's interesting and interesting lead into kind of what I want to talk about. I was telling Captain, like, I don't want to just come on here every week and just like whine and bitch about like whatever's happening that we disagree with. Like, let's try and be somewhat useful here if we're going to keep doing these episodes. So I thought like kind of while we're in the, like the hecticness of these protests in Iran, like you could go on social media right now and it's all over the place. Like the propaganda operation is dialed up to full bore, like as much as they could possibly do. And so I have a couple of like examples of it. I just wanted to kind of like highlight and show you while we're in the moment and I'm like self-aware of it. I could like grab these things and show you. So number one, let's start with the there's protests in Iran, and I don't know if you've seen like a lot of there've been a lot of citations of how many protesters have been killed by the Iranian government. Now again, like, let's disclaimer, I'm not a supporter of Ayatollah Khomeini or the Iranian theocratic regime or anything like that. Like, I hope that they have a libertarian, perfect, and Capistan society. That'd be great. Highly doubt it. Don't think it's going to happen. And most likely to get somebody like the Shah down from Greenwich back in charge over there. But like in the moment, there's been these claims that like they've killed 20,000 people right now. Like these protests have been going on for like 3 weeks now. Right now. So just like, let's just think about just before we even get into like what I've found out, let's get into like the math. 20,000 people. Israel's claiming that they've killed like 30,000 people in Gaza. Like they'll debate why or how or, the good or bad of it. Right. But like over all those years, Israel's claiming they killed 30,000 people in one of the bloodiest things we've ever seen, the war in Gaza. But the number that they're telling you now is that Iran in 3 weeks has killed 20,000 people. So like, even on its face, how difficult it would be to just kill 20,000 people in 3 weeks, especially in the context of them being protesters. So like, I've read a lot about, or I've watched a lot of stuff about like World War I, and there are periods in World War I, like 100,000 soldiers would die in like a month because some of these battles were so bloody. However, the context being like, that's a fucking battle where dudes are
people
on
showed
both
up
sides fighting to the death, going over the top of trenches and going at it to the last man. A protest is a completely different scenario. I'm not saying a protest can't get bloody. I'm not saying the Iranian regime hasn't killed anybody. But like, let's say you start opening up machine gun fire into a group of protesters. Most likely, what are those protesters going to do? They're going to run. They're going to scatter, run away. Some of them perhaps will fight back. You're not going to kill that many people in that short time. So on its face, the number's fucking ridiculous. Now the numbers being cited everywhere. This is why we have to go in. This is why America has to get involved. Trump himself said if they kill too many people, we have to go and do something, right? So it's like this atrocity porn concept again.
The last October
babies
7th.
in ovens, right?
Yeah,
Never happened. Proven false.
In the street. One thing we have known for a long time now. This is something that like I'm really going to like hammer into people that I speak to in 2026 is like, what have you learned over the past several years? It's time to use that information. They're giving you a number. Remember, there was another number that was on the bottom corner of every CNN episode. It was the COVID deaths. And they were wrong. They were lies. They were inflated. Okay. You don't think that they would inflate the number of something happening literally on the other side of the world where there is an internet media blackout taking place to get us into war?
Mr. B says, I've been hearing 2,000, not 20,000. Now, good for you, Mr. B. That's because you hang out with us. And you're probably your algorithm's probably privy to more accurate information. I agree. I think that probably the number is probably closer to 2,000. If I had to guess, what the fuck do I know? Like Captain just said, right? I have no idea. And Mr. B says another comment, says utter atrocity, all the same. I agree. However, the point I'm trying to make is that like when they're trying to like gin you up to support a regime change operation or war, they go over the top with atrocity porn stuff. Back in you know. And when the Iraq War happened, they said that the Iraqi army, when they went into Kuwait, were bayoneting babies in Kuwait in their incubators. That never happened. They just make up these heinous, crazy things. This way they could sell it to you as we're the good guys, they're the bad guys. We got to go in there and do this fucking thing. That's what they're doing, right? So what exactly? Where is this? Where again? What Cap say? Where are these numbers even coming from?
And they would, if they killed 20,000 people, they'd be stacking bodies mile high.
Yeah, they would. Right. It makes no sense.
There'd be mass grave sites.
So where are these numbers that were being cited even coming from? Michael Tracy, I don't agree with Michael Tracy on everything. I think he's kind of moronic on a lot of things, but sometimes on stuff like this, he's really, really good. He says the huge death tolls in Iran being splashed all over the media are sourced to an outfit in Fairfax, Virginia, called Human Rights Activists in Iran that is overwhelmingly funded by the United States government. What is their methodology? Is it credible? Who cares? Just pump the big numbers out, right? What is that? Where is Fairfax, Virginia? It's right next to Washington, D.C. It's like one of these government-funded agencies that are, just doing whatever the deep state, the government wants them to do, putting out the numbers like that. I saw also, Barry Weiss, the new, Israeli puppet in charge of CBS News, was also kind of like circulating this 20,000, 15,000 number. So against atrocity level.
It's amazing.
Porn.
The one thing that will never not shock me is how Donald Trump can eat a salad and CBS will be, oh, salads are bad. Only dictators eat salads. But the second, we want to start a war and have a regime change, we're all on the same page here. No problem, buddy. You want us to bump those numbers up? We got you.
We got them, right? Or, like, are Democrats talking out about the possibility of getting involved in this? Like, no, they're not, right? Like, it's interesting to see that. Like, you're not going to see Hakeem Jeffries giving a stump speech about how, like, we can't go into Iran now and bomb the Ayatollah and whatever. Like, they're not going to make it too obvious, like, that they agree. Like, he's not going to go up there and be like, President Trump's doing a great job, and when he bombs the nuclear, like, they're not going to do that, but you could obviously sniff shit like that out. So what exactly is going on there? This is where we could get into things. Now, dude, I saw this tweet. Look, if anyone was paying attention closely since the bombing of the nuclear facility back in June, which ironically, remember, everyone was touting it as mission accomplished. Yeah. That's it. We don't have to go back and do anything else. The facility's blown up. Here we are a couple of months later. People were saying, like, this is not over for you guys and, the MAGA influencer types who are just like, that's it. We won. We're the best. Yeah. B-2 bombers. Everything's great. This is going to come back and rear its ugly head. I didn't think it was going to be this quick, I'll be honest with you. But here we are now. We're at the precipice again of possibly having to attack them, get involved or whatever. And people have been saying, like, no, like, Israel is getting close to planning another attack. The past, 2 months, people have been saying, like, planning another attack and bringing us into it against Iran. Now, I've been seeing that. I'm saying, like, I had been seeing that the past 2 months. Here we are now. So people had been saying that, and now here we are. We're right there. So that leads you to believe, like, how did we get right here? How did we get right here? Well, I saw this tweet by, his name is Tamir Marag. He is an Israeli, and he works for, I think, Channel 14 in Israel, which, by my understanding, is a right-wing media outlet in Israel. Right-wing in Israel would mean like Netanyahu, the Likud, that whole group, the group we're all aware of if you watch this show. So Tamir says, tonight we publish in the main edition of Channel 14, foreign elements are arming the protesters in Iran with live weapons, and this is the reason for the hundreds of dead among the regime's people. Anyone is free to guess who we're talking about. And then he restates it again later in another tweet. So here you go. Right-wing media publication in Israel. Now, maybe this guy's wrong. Maybe he's a bit of a lefty within their society. Who the fuck knows, and doesn't like the Likud and Mossad and all that stuff. But from Israel's mouth itself, or at least a person in the Israeli media, foreign entities are arming people in Iran to attack the government. And that would make a little bit more sense as to why people are going to kill, right? It's a shooting. Yeah. Again, that doesn't, I'm not justifying the Iranian regime killing protesters or anything like that.
Fuck them.
just setting the stage for you as to what the fuck's going on here. If you're under the impression that this is like an organic uprising, that we're all on the team of human liberty and we want the Iranians to succeed, that's a crock of shit. They got Reza Pahlavi, the Shah's fucking son from Greenwich, waiting in the wings to swoop. The guy don't know anyone in Iran. The guy's been over here in the Connecticut his whole life. He's been fucking living here. They're ready to just parachute his ass into Tehran and be the king all over again. While at the same time, people are telling you, like, we got to support the Iranians' freedom and liberty and whatnot. But they're ready to fucking parachute a guy who's never lived there his whole life as the king just because he's going to do what we want him to do.
What also is amazing to me is they cheer the fact that they're getting rid of Islam over there, but we have people begging for it over here.
Yeah, that's the great irony of it.
The same people who are begging for it here are so excited for Iran's freedom.
Yeah. I mean, that's my ultimate concern, right? Is like these destabilizing actions, that you can try, like we talked in the last episode. Like, I think Trump's trying to approach these regime change operations, having learned something. So they're trying a different recipe, but like second, third order effects of these things, who the fuck knows, right? Yeah. Like you could end up with a mess, thousands of your own soldiers dead, another fucking refugee crisis. Now Iran's further away. Maybe they wouldn't be able to come here, but for some reason, all these people fucking find their way to America.
Well, the government would fly them over here, no problem.
They definitely would end up, flooding Europe and making that place worse, right? And
once we kick out all the Somalis in Minnesota, we'll bring in all the Iranians.
I did see somebody shared I think Luch shared a article that the Republicans of Minnesota are drafting impeachment articles against Tim Walz. So that's interesting. We'll keep an eye on that. But
still needs to go to jail.
Yeah. Absolutely. So again, that's my take here. This is and again, like, it's not completely organic. That doesn't mean that there's no Iranian person who hates the regime and just like saw a bunch of shit going down. Like, fuck it, let me grab a rock and go up there. This is my chance. Like, that definitely is happening. And I'd say that they're probably the majority of people protesting. They're not like plants, but like a couple key people in a crowd, that are Mossad agents. Dude, really get the party fucking started.
Something you guys should all watch is, and I sent the one text message the other day to the group. You guys need to watch Leonardo DiCaprio's new movie, One Battle After the Next. It's about, he's part of this terrorist organization. He gets in super deep. They really do a lot of attacks. Somebody gets arrested. They all go underground. He lives his life. It's 16 years later. Shit pops back up. Whatever. So there's this colonel who's got it out for him, and the colonel's got like way more sway now, and he's like in charge. The whole reason the terrorist organization develops is because they're pro-immigration. So they go and attack all the they're not concentration camp. Remember where they were holding them under bridges? What were they called?
Yeah, the holding facilities for migrants.
The detainment centers.
Yeah.
They would go and attack those and free all the illegals and all that stuff. So anyway, so this colonel is in charge of all that, and now he has like personal issues that he needs to take care of. So he just uses the full might of the government and the military to squash his personal issues and stuff, and frames people and all this stuff. But there is this key scene that I looked at my fiance and I said, this is what happened on January 6th. They had the whole protest going on. All the cops are standing there. They're holding the line. He makes one phone call. A guy behind the protesting line gets out of a van with a mask on, throws a Molotov cocktail at the police, throws it short, whiffs it, obviously. Oh, perfect. They're attacking us. Now we could go in, attack them. And she's like, what? They sent in their own person so this could all pop off? Yes, exactly. It's all fake and gay. They are going to get the reaction they want, whether it happens organically or inorganically. That's how January 6th turned into January 6th, because they had people hidden in a van. They got their little text message. They got their little memo, and they went out there and they stormed the Capitol. It's all under control. Like it was a great scene to watch, to see how shit like this actually works.
Now, again, my giant disappointment is we're not going to bitch about this every episode. Like I said before, is like all that in theory kind of happened to frame Trump. Yet here he is, kind of carrying out like the will or the agenda of who absolutely are the same people most likely behind doing things like that. Like, this is none of our fucking business, whatever's going on in Iran. MIGA is a pathetic thing for him to say. We voted for MAGA, make America fucking great again. America first, actually, is what we really voted for. And this is the focus continuously. How many episodes? I know we just tend to focus on foreign policy stuff a lot because it's interesting, but my God, like, that's what they're focused on.
Yeah.
You know, like, it doesn't mean they're not doing anything. They are doing some good things, but this is the overall focus all the time. How can we maintain the empire? How can we do what's good for Israel?
How can we? No, it's not even maintain. How can we expand? And shockingly, we're going to expand in one of the several states that we spoke about. That colonel or that
the
general
last one
spoke about. Yeah,
remains to be seen if it's going to work, man. One thing the Iranian regime has proven over the course of time is they're way more resilient than a lot of their neighbors in the area are. However, all their allies were just toppled the past couple months, right? So like the plan has led up to this moment.
China took a hit.
I'm just saying, like, Hezbollah's gone. Assad in Syria is gone. The Houthis have been neutered, right, in Yemen. So like all those allies of theirs that they're the big bad.
What do you think about like China and Russia and North Korea?
They're far away, and I don't think they're willing to go to the mat, the way that like Hezbollah would have been, for Iran. I'm not saying they won't do, I'm not saying they don't try to help, but
it would be weird to see Chinese boots on the ground in Iran to fight America.
No, China would chalk that up to we lost that chess match, that move.
Yeah.
So it remains to be seen. Maybe this is the end of the Ayatollahs.
He's in Russia now. He ran away to Russia.
Who knows, dude? Who knows? Yeah, I mean, sure.
Yeah, he could be on the move.
Yeah, let me call my inside source at the Shin Bet
at the Kremlin. At the Kremlin.
Yeah. All right. So I have another really kind of funny and fucking stupid example of just propaganda that gins people up in these scenarios. So now I don't know if anybody saw it. I know you didn't, right? But this photo has been going.
This
viral.
is what you were telling me about.
This photo's been going viral across everywhere.
Pretty badass photo.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. See the reaction you got just right off the bat. Seeing it. It's this woman, and she's smoking a cigarette, and she's using a cigarette to light a photo of Ayatollah Khomeini on fire. Now people are fucking sharing this everywhere. This woman she's not wearing a hijab. She is the emblem of the resistance of the protests in Iran. Well, turns out Owen Schroyer pointed out. He was the first person pointed out. I'm like, who and why and who force fed a video of a radical feminist in Canada from 2022 into your timeline, making you think it was an Iranian woman in Iran? And I saw them, like, get the fuck out of here. I went and verified. Yes, this is a woman.
There's snow on the ground behind.
Yes, right. So like, yep, there are a couple things that might point out that don't really look like Iran. It does snow in Iran, but don't look like Iran. If you actually look at the background, people found using Google Earth what that building is in the background, like replaced the background of this, and it is in Canada. But again, like, this has kind of taken off as like the symbol or the image people are using of the protest. And like J.K. Rowling, the author of Harry Potter, creates a pretty fucking cool, again, cool looking poster, freedom of this woman. And if you claim to support human rights, you can't bring yourself to show solidarity with those fighting for their liberty in Iran. You've revealed yourself. You don't give a damn about being oppressed and brutalized so long as it's being done by the enemies of your enemies. So again, like, super famous person, controversial person, but absolutely a feminist. She butted heads with the woke people, ironically, but here she is now kind of, serving the interests, probably not even maliciously. Like, she's probably just an idiot caught up in the whole thing, creating this really cool fucking artwork that's going to be touted again. Like, she's insinuating that real quick. She's insinuating that, you're not standing in solidarity with those fighting for their liberty in Iran. So again, she's insinuating that this woman is in Iran fighting for her liberty. This is a woman in Canada, most likely a liberal. We know what Canada's like. Most likely a feminist. So you have not just J.K. Rowling, right-wingers, conservatives sharing this image. Ted Cruz, I think, shared this image. I was like, that fucking makes sense. Of course you would. right? Like sharing a Canadian female liberal feminist as the symbol of their regime change ops. That don't fucking show you how fake all this shit is, how fake the culture war stuff is.
They have nothing.
All they care about is war and like the empire, the agenda, right? Like they'll fucking tout some feminist liberal in Canada if they need to, if like the photo makes sense and it's effective for them. That's the point I'm trying to make out. And again, you want a right-wing example or a right-wing conservative example of how stupid this shit is? The Babylon fucking Bee. Now, again, the Babylon Bee does satire work, but there's some truth behind some of the things they say all the time. So the Babylon Bee post, U.S. offers to trade its liberal woman for Iranian women. And it's the photo. It's a funny fucking tweet. I'm not going to lie. Like, it's pretty funny. It's a photo of the woman who got shot by the ICE officer in, where was that? Minnesota. And it's the woman that we're talking about, the figurehead now of the Iranian regime. U.S. offers to trade its liberal woman, that woman who got shot, for Iranian woman. Again, this is a Canadian woman, and most likely this Canadian woman, actually not most likely, yes, she is a feminist liberal, just like the lady in Minnesota.
She agrees with that,
Right, so like, what is the Babylon Bee pushing here? Like, they were, in a sense. So that's how fucking stupid this shit is. Like, this makes no sense on its face. But here is the Babylon Bee, a conservative outlet.
Well, most of these wars don't make sense. They're just looking to gain traction wherever they could gain traction and, gain popularity. So this doesn't become an unpopular opinion going into the midterms.
Yeah.
And if a war is going on, then this is how the midterms can be all about foreign affairs instead of actually America first.
Yeah, absolutely. Right.
Yeah.
Again, what I say last week, right? It's like the Wesley Clark thing where it's like, we don't have anything new about Osama bin Laden, but like we have a really strong military and we're good at like, it's easy to topple governments. We can just go do that. And those are easy wins, especially in the short term, fuck all 20 years later, what a mess it was. Trillions of dollars in debt, et cetera, all byproducts of those fucking terrible decisions back then. But hey, we got Maduro and we're going to Greenland next. Like it's all going to work out perfectly. Can't wait. Don't worry. Don't listen to,
don't look up.
Pillars, you fucking black pillars. Dan Bongino's coming for your ass. What do we got? We only got a couple more days. February 6th, right? Or something like that. He comes back on. We're doomed.
Yeah. So, maybe I'm going to listen to that episode so we could come back on here and I could completely trash talk him because I don't want to say a bullet in the chamber because that sounds like I'm inciting violence, but like
a metaphorical bullet.
I have a metaphorical bullet in the chamber, a nice little zinger to completely blow his shit out of the water.
Maybe we live stream his episode and simulcast it, like talking shit about him.
Do you think if this pops off into full-blown war, which I think we're going to see some sort of a war. I don't know if we're particularly going to start it. Israel probably would be happy to do that. But do you think this is going to be a long-term situation? Or now that Trump's in the office, is this going to be the first long-term war that we get under him? Or is this going to be over in like 6 weeks, like this quick, decisive action, show of force, knock them out hard type of thing that Trump's been on the ball on, following as of late?
It's a good question.
This is strictly opinion. We have no proof or information on how to figure this out. So it's just our speculation.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, if I had to guess, it's never as easy as they're going to make it out to be, unless Trump is going to be that disciplined where he's going to, keep this at like long range strikes. And no matter how many calls for boots on the ground that the Zionists and the neocons are going to make, because that's what it would in theory take to really like, in my opinion, pacify the Iranian, the Persian people. It probably would remain a limited engagement. I don't know. Trump's not going to be there forever as well.
Yeah. Everybody believes J.D. Vance is the next shoe in, so his policies will be there longer.
Yeah, he's whatever. He just, like I said last episode, he comes on Twitter to explain away why this thing you don't like is good. No, I'll be honest with you. I do not think that it's going to be clean. I don't think it's going to be as straightforward as they're always going to make everything out to be. I'm thinking back to a couple of years ago, listening to Scott Horton talk about Iran and just like the topography of Iran. It's a super fucking mountainous.
Yeah, it's not easy
nation. It's like it's very difficult if we wanted to just invade the place, boots on the ground. Like you're going to invade a place and then have to climb. Like Tehran is in the mountains. Like to climb the mountains, doesn't matter how technologically advanced you are, it's fucking difficult and expensive. They have a decent amount of anti-aircraft positions there. I mean, that they didn't, prove anything against Israel in that 12-day war, but I don't think anything's as straightforward. Like, again, like how do you know what the actual feeling of a majority of the people in Iran are? Like just because a lot of people are protesting now doesn't mean everyone agrees with it, right? Like, isn't that something we've learned? I was listening to Dave Smith make the point of like in his last episode, I'm like, look, in America, you have a super obvious red-blue divide from country to city. He's like, isn't it possible that in the Iranian cities now on their scale, there's a similar shift that like in the Iranian cities, people are probably more liberal, and in the Iranian countryside, people are definitely more conservative. Now, that's definitely a different size scale, right? Like we're talking about like Islamic liberalism and conservatism, right? So it's not like westernized, right? But how often do you see a bunch of right-wingers in America go out and protest? But that doesn't mean that we're not here. It doesn't mean that we don't exist, that we're not armed, hate whatever the fuck is going on. So it's not like if we were to go in there, have to get involved in this, who's to say that those people don't say, fuck this shit. We hate that they killed the Ayatollah. We're going to start up a new terrorist movement. And before you know it, there's roadside bombs. There's this, there's that. There's fucking 10,000 American soldiers dead. There's 500,000 Iranians dead, right? Like 10 years from now, we're $70 trillion in debt. Like you're now talking about the possibility is the collapse of our country because we've overextended ourselves, bankrupted ourselves, had another one of these scenarios where like morally bankrupted ourselves by getting involved in one of these things. It's like a lot to risk. On the bright hand, what is there to gain? Israel feels more secure in the region. They're happy. Their chief rival's gone, right? Like if the Ayatollah's gone, my life and your life here in Connecticut, is it affected whatsoever?
No.
Nope. Does that sound
Rarely
very America first?
Any regime change.
But our entire society has a possibility of collapsing if it doesn't go the way that the elites think it's going to go.
Hey, well, then there's no more bills. There's no more.
Not worth the risk.
No more bills. No more. Taxes.
It's be different type of bills we got to pay. Yeah. We got to roll things and fight all fucking Mad Max type, exactly. So I'm aware of all the risks of these things. My view is that this ain't worth it. This ain't our fight. This ain't our fucking problem. America
never
first.
Is our fight. It never is our fight.
All right. Any other thoughts on this? I got a few tweets of the week, and then
let's let them roll.
We'll bring it home from there.
We'll bring it home from Iran.
We'll bring it home. Oh, hang on one second. Bring it home. Bring them all home. All right. First one is from Toad. I like Toad. Toad is pretty funny. Toad goes, when Trump said he was going to drain the swamp, I guess the swamp meant Netanyahu's balls.
Yeah, I've seen that one.
Okay, this one.
Oh, Thomas Massey.
Yeah, hold on. This is a video.
Watch out, Alan.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw. So here, let's just get to it. Hang on one second. Sorry, there's a video, so I got to change up how we share it. So Thomas Massey got like ambushed. Like one of these. You get like ambushed in the halls of Congress, and somebody tries to ask you a bunch of gotcha questions. Yeah. And this happened to be like one of Laura Loomer's reporters who takes this video of him. And they posted this shit, which is fucking funny. So like they posted trying to make him look bad. Let's listen to it real quick.
How's it going? Happy birthday. Thank you. Wait, so Congressman, in the last 2 weeks, you repeated AOC's talking points on Venezuela, and Jasmine Crockett has retweeted you. When will you change your party affiliation to Democrat?
I thought you knew. I vote with Republicans 91% of the time. And the 9% I don't, they're taken up for pedophiles, starting another war, or bankrupting our country.
I don't know about that, Congressman. We'll see.
We're not really.
Again, they posted.
They got him.
They posted this thinking that this makes him look bad. He says, why are you always taking sides with the Democrats? Why are you going to, or when are you going to change your party affiliation? He goes, I vote with Republicans 91% of the time. The only time I don't is when they protect pedophiles, start new wars, and try and bank the country. And these fucking idiots, they posted that video thinking it makes him look bad. Yo, Thomas Massey, run. That's your first campaign ad right there for re-election. Yeah. Run that shit. Who gives a fuck if AOC is saying the right thing on Venezuela. She's a fucking retard. Who cares? Like she's like the blows in the wind like a fucking paper bag. Doesn't matter. What matters is if you're right.
Funny.
Right. So I thought that was pretty good. One more. Any thoughts on that in particular, Captain?
No, I mean this is this is what I expect of these type of people at this point. They're so convoluted at this point that like even like a win for Massey they think is a loss just because like he spoke.
Drinking
he
the
said
Kool-Aid.
Something. We got it. It's got to be
drinking
bad,
the
right?
Kool-Aid. And dude, when real quick side note, when people get to the point, or when movements, when administrations get to the point where they're just drinking their own Kool-Aid, very fucking dangerous. Like we were talking about last week, they all seemed like really pent up high off of the success of abducting Maduro, and they're out there, threatening everyone else. It's like, yo, careful. That's when you think like you're the big bad motherfucker. That's honestly, when someone sucker punches you, or you make a big fucking mistake that you're not expecting.
With a lot of this stuff,
happen, but
with the temperature of the room, and one dictator gone, another dictator fleeing, another regime toppling. I really think 2026 is the year we see that Black Swan event take place.
Who knows? We'll be here. Maybe we won't. We'll be here to cover it. All right. My last tweet of the week is by one of my favorite guys, Dave Smith. And he says, the people who supported Israel committing a genocide for 2 years are suddenly very concerned about human rights violations in the Middle East. And it coincidentally happens to be with the regime that is Israel's chief regional rival. But don't let that fuck with you. Yeah. Right. Like, you're seeing Lindsey Graham, Ted Cruz. They're human rights of the Iranian people. These fucking bloodthirsty lunatic monsters.
All these politicians
talking about
that get money
rights.
from AIPAC.
Get the fuck out of here. Yeah.
It's
again, I'll point back to what you said before. Like, have you fucking learned anything? Have you learned anything the past couple of years? Yeah. If you're out there thinking that you're just mindlessly lapping up this slop like it's a good thing, that's a black pill. I hate to end it on a black pill like that, but if you are, I hope you watch this and you fucking think twice.
There's the propaganda too. Now all of a sudden you're a civil rights activist for Iran. You know what I mean? Like
supporting feminists. Yeah, it's literally supporting feminists. After that the war against the woke shit that we all just went through. Now people on our side are retweeting photos of Canadian leftist women.
The deep state's winning. The deep state's winning.
Yeah. Again, it's also just a point back. It's like all that shit was we said this, like it's easy to get that right. Like what's a man, what's a woman, you know, like it was easy. Those were easy things to get right. It's like this is the hard stuff now when we're years later. And it's like Trump is out here doing bad, dumb shit. Or, this is hard. Admittedly so. You should have learned something the past couple of years. If you didn't, I don't know. Keep watching Two Doomed Men and maybe we'll fucking learn something. Sign us off.
All right, Doom Nation. I hope you guys enjoyed that episode. We will be back next week. So make sure you like, share, and subscribe and follow us so you can get the updates. You can see all the cool clips Scagz puts out there. And you'll also know when we're going to have our next episode.
Yeah. Royal Rumble's coming up 31st, right? 31st?
Yep.
31st.
And then hopefully there should be a good old liquor review.
Yeah, we're working on it. We're talking about a liquor. We need to get some liquor. It's been 5 seconds.
Drinks.
It's been 5 seconds since we drank anything. So
exactly. So on that note, Doom Nation, be prepared. We will be back next week. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Adios.